With us, Alex Lawson, the Executive Director of Social Security Works, socialsecurityworks.org, strengthensocialsecurity.org, ALaw202 on Twitter, and SS Works, or on Xer, or whatever you call it. Alex, welcome back to the program. Tell us about this, what panel? I mean, what is Mike Johnson, and what are the Republicans up to now?
Tom, thanks for having me. Death panel is what they're up to. You know, that's what the White House has called it, and they're right. Speaker Johnson and his buddy Jody Arrington are advancing the formation of a smoky back room where they can get together, figure out how to rob the American people by cutting our earned Social Security benefits, and then ram that through Congress with no accountability to the American people in a fast track package with an up or down vote, no amendments. As you know, and your listeners know, this is the exact replay of the BS commission back in the Obama era. And we have to fight with everything that we have to stop this from happening. Some people don't think that it's real because they're not hearing about it on, you know, like too much of the corporate news, but the corporate news want this to happen, Tom. So it's like only truth tellers like yourself who are pushing this story out there. But you cannot get more real than what they just announced yesterday, which is a markup of the bill to create this smoky back room to cut Social Security benefits. It's happening on Thursday over the objection of, you know, the vast majority of the American people. We have polling to show the vast majority of Republicans do not want to see a single penny of Social Security cut. You know, you've heard me say this many times. Way more Americans believe in the Loch Ness Monster than want to see even a single penny of Social Security benefits cuts. And Speaker Johnson, you know, Johnson and Arrington, they know how unpopular this is. That's why they're doing it through this incredibly sneaky, underhanded process of creating a fast track commission, a death panel for Social Security and Medicare. And we need all of the Democrats to stand incredibly strong in just saying no, absolutely no. Commission is a poison pill. Nothing will advance that includes a commission. And sort of just, I maybe should have started here, Tom, but this is all going to be attached to the government funding fight, which is now pushed out into March, but it's coming fast and furious. And this commission's a real and present danger.
It's pushed out to March on the assumption that a CR gets passed in the next week or so, right?
Correct, yeah. And there's a snow day in D.C. right now. So it will be difficult for them to get that CR passed, which will push it out into March. But there is general agreement there. So I would bet they do get that done. Right. And then they have from now until the beginning of March to come up with exactly how this commission, this death panel would be brought into existence. Yeah,
yeah. So what we're talking about here, first of all, just to set the stage, Social Security is, you know, the Social Security Trust Fund is being spent down right now, as was intended. There literally was no Social Security Trust Fund prior to 1983. Please interrupt me and fact check me if I have any of this wrong.
A little adjustment. It has existed previously, but then it's spent down, and then 83 is that generation pre-funding. So then it creates it and then spends it down. It's operating exactly as it's supposed to.
Right. So number one. Number two, even the shortfalls that are predicted could easily be met simply by lifting the cap so that people who earn over $140,000 a year, or whatever the number is right now, I think it's 144, isn't it?
100. It's gone up, so it goes up every year. It's 168, right around there.
168,000 a year. So, so you know, if people making $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $5 million a year, $1 billion a year, if they paid the same percentage of Social Security income tax that you and I pay, then Social Security would be solvent forever and could sustain actually a benefit increase, correct?
Absolutely. And just to say, like Elon Musk stopped paying in 4 minutes into January 1st of the new year, right? Like a person who makes $1 million a year, they stop paying in around Valentine's Day, so the middle of February. The vast majority of the American people pay into Social Security all year long on all of their
And I would add,
money.
probably the vast majority of American people don't realize that if you're really rich, you don't have to pay Social Security income taxes on most of your income. And,
Absolutely.
And this is a simple way to solve this problem. So this is an attempt to reinvent basically the Simpson-Bowles Commission or something like that. You know, the old cat food commission.
It is. I shorthanded it the BS commission because I'll never not do that because it is a BS commission with BS recommendations. But that's exactly what it is, Tom. And even that, the Bowles-Simpson commission was just a regurgitation of previous, right? So it's so simple that people have a hard time believing it's this simple. It's just billionaires and the ultra rich saying, we don't want to pay the same rate into Social Security as the vast majority of the American people. So we're going to do whatever we can to cut the American people's Social Security benefits so that we don't have to pay more in taxes, pay the same rate as the vast majority of people. And this is one of their most, this is a way they could actually get it through Congress. Social Security is really hard to cut in the light of day. And so they create these smoky back rooms, which is why we have to be really clarion in our call saying, anytime you're talking about Social Security, do it in the daylight, do it in the sunlight. You can't hide behind a closed door and talk about Social Security, because when you're doing that, the only reason you do that is because you're about to do deeply unpopular things, which is cutting Social Security benefits.
I don't know anything about Jody Arrington other than that he's a Republican. What is it, the banks that are driving this because they want the Social Security to be privatized and they want to get their hands on those trillions of dollars? Or is it the billionaires who are driving it because they don't want to pay the tax? I mean, your average billionaire is only paying 3% income tax right now anyway, so go ahead.
Tom, I think it's part and parcel. I think they're, it's like it is specifically the Wall Street billionaire class that are behind this. And
that's where the money would end up if they could privatize Social Security.
Exactly. So it's like they don't want to pay more in taxes, and they know that if they kill Social Security, which is their end goal, all of the money flows to Wall Street, where they can sock on, a 20% administrative fee and buy another golden yacht. They absolutely cannot stand that they can't get their greedy little fingers on Social Security's trillions of dollars that's held in trust for the American people.
So here's my prediction, Alex. If they have this commission, if they do pull this off, then my guess, and I'm throwing this out so you can reality check it, my guess is that they're going to look at Medicare and see what George W. Bush and the Republicans did with Medicare, creating the Medicare Advantage scam in 2003, and offering a competitive product. And they'll do something like Social Security Advantage, where you can choose not to pay Social Security income taxes, but instead to put money in with Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or whatever, and Bank of America, and have a two-track system just like they've done with Medicare. What do you think of that?
That's George W. Bush's plan. So that is privatization, and it's absolutely one of the avenues that they'd go after. They sort of understand that privatization is deeply unpopular, and we defeated it really, really strongly when W proposed it. So they're like, oh no, these are private accounts, not privatization. And you're like, it's literally the same thing. But they also will go after just straight up cutting benefits, right? And it'll be like the tricky. They'll bend themselves into knots, trying not to say they're cutting benefits. It'll be the chain CPI or all of these wonky things, but it all comes to raising the retirement age is actually what they're talking about primarily right now.
Yeah,
And it
which is
really-
what Haley and DeSantis both endorsed last week, which is bizarre. So, Alex, how best can people who are listening right now make their opinions heard with members of Congress? And is it even worth the effort to call Republican members of Congress if they represent you? Particularly, obviously, we want to be calling Democrats, but the Republicans control the House right now.
Absolutely. Call all of your House members. We have seen in the committee, I was there last time, I'll be there on Thursday, there is Republican hesitation on the creation of a commission. Sometimes for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they're not like good reasons. They're like, oh, they won't go far enough, right? But whatever, it's not a unified Republican position. And Republicans are scared of, being
Getting
tagged
busted
with. Yeah. So like definitely call your Republicans. We have 116 Democrats who are on a letter saying absolutely no commission. Even call them and say thank you. But whoever your representative is, now is definitely the moment to make your voice heard, that a commission is the same as Social Security cuts, right? If you're on board with a commission, we will count that as you being on board with Social Security cuts.
Right.
That's what the office is.
And is there more information about this on one of your websites? And if so, which one?
Absolutely. If you go to socialsecurityworks.org, we're tracking it every hour. Find us on social media as well. Social Security Works on Facebook and on Twitter or Threads. But we are keeping up to date. You can sign our petition, which I'm going to deliver directly to Jody Arrington. So don't worry, I will make sure your voice is heard directly by the folks who are trying to make this happen. And it matters. Your voice matters. We can and will defeat this as long as we raise our voices together. They can't ignore us.
There you go. Alex Lawson, Executive Director of SocialSecurityWorks.org. Alex, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tom.
Great talking with you. We'll be right back. It's 18 minutes past the hour.